vendor finance lawyer website. I'm Tony Cordato from Cordato Partners, Business, Property and Tourism Lawyers. I'm a lawyer specialising in vendor finance for real estate in Australia. Now when I say vendor finance, you could call it seller finance, instalment finance, terms finance, rent to own, rent to buy. There's a whole lot of names for vendor finance because they reflect a whole lot of different ways of doing it. There are three main ways of doing it, which I explain on my website. But before we go on to that, let's just go to the basics. Vendor finance is all about buyers and sellers, connecting buyers and sellers to properties. And you know, I've never understood why it is that a seller who's selling a property to a buyer doesn't help the buyer out with their finance. Does that make sense? The seller says to the buyer, well, no, you go to a bank, a mortgage broker, somewhere else and get the finance and then come back to me so I can sell the house to you. Well, vendor finance gets over all that problem. The seller says, look, if you can't find money from the bank, or if you actually prefer that I finance it for you, I'll provide the finance. Now, you tell this to anyone in the real estate industry and they go, shock, horror. What's this bloke doing? The way it's done is we advertise for sale to a buyer, the buyer likes the house, and then the buyer has to go to someone they don't know to get the money. Well, I'm here to tell you that vendor finance does away with that. Vendor finance is about price, but it's also about the terms, about the way in which a property can be sold with no banks.